Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for this upcoming full moon that's occurring on June 14th, 2022. And so what I want to do, I'm going to do things a little bit differently for these moon readings ongoing. I'm going to take a look at the numerology and the energy forecast for the collective, which I highly recommend you listen to because it does, we're all a part of the collective. So we are privy to these energies, right? We may feel them. Have a listen to that. And then I'm going to break the energies down into each life path forecast so that you can kind of see based on your life path number, how this illumination may affect you, how you may feel the energies, that sort of thing. Okay, so this, of course, is a general reading. If you would like to take a look at your own personal energies and numerology, please book some time with me. The link for it to be able to do that is in the description box below. Okay, so before I get into the numerology, I went ahead and pulled an animal spirit card for this illumination. And very much aligned with the numerology, we received chameleon spirit. And so chameleon spirit's message is all about adaptation, camouflage. When you think about the chameleon, it moves sort of slowly, and its little eyes are kind of moving all around, just taking everything in, seeing what's going on around it so that it knows how to adapt, so that it knows how it needs to integrate into the situation, how it's meant to experience its environment. And so I think it's really important to mention that we do have a lot of 5 energy coming through in this at this full moon. And so change, adaptation, transformation, all of that is going to be very potent. And so I think that as we move through this illumination, through this energy, which can be at about the span of a couple of weeks, this isn't an eclipse energy, so probably a couple of weeks we'll feel it. Just try to embody chameleon energy, right? Especially if it's a change or a transformation that feels uncomfortable or that is unexpected. Just play like chameleon, take everything in, look around, and then adapt as needed, right? There's going to be probably a lot of need for surrender, a lot of need to go with the flow, that sort of thing. A lot of things that we need to release control over with this illumination. And so instead of fighting that, I don't know, anytime I've ever seen a chameleon, they just seem so relaxed and chill. Like they're just taking it all in, going with the flow, doing their thing and adapting, right? And doing what they need to do. Okay, so looking at the numerology for the collective. So this full moon illumination emphasizes the vibrations of the 5 and the 8. So it's very possible that collectively we could see major shifts or transformations when it comes to power and the balancing of power, shifts in resources and global financial infrastructures. So we may be asked now to be much more adaptable in how we spend money, how we make money, and where we place value when it comes to our purchasing power. So again, the 5 is all about change, freedom, freedom of expression. This is a big, fast-moving energy. So it doesn't want to be tied down. It doesn't want to be restricted. It's go big or go home kind of energy. And that coupled with the 8, which is a very material plane energy. It's very tangible. It's very about, again, power, money, business, resources, power dynamics, philanthropy, all these things, as well as intuition and a spiritual connection as well. But really, I think this illumination is really going to bring into the forefront a lot around change, adaptability when it comes to finances, resources, especially on a global stage. So you may see, again, power play, right? Things going back and forth around power and redistribution of power, where there's injustices, bringing justice to that situation. Could see that all kind of be playing out now. Supply and demand is a real force. And when we buy something, needed or not needed, we're saying we want more of this, whatever it is. So we may need to get creative when it comes to finances and our purchasing power to perhaps send a different message if we want to see some sort of a shift, right? So it doesn't make sense to get angry or frustrated at large corporations if we are constantly showing consistent support for them and how they conduct business, right? So by purchasing their products, we're saying we like what you're doing and we want more of this. So we always have a choice, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be an easy choice, but we always have a choice. And many times there are smaller businesses who offer similar products and whose values may be in greater alignment with our own. And so it may be a little bit more pricey. It might take a little bit longer to receive. It might not have that instant gratification. But there are options out there, right? And so we just need to take that power back and decide how we want to use that voice, right? Like how we want to use our buying power, and think about the message that we're sending when we make that purchase. A lot could come up now around, again, power struggles, reclaiming power, and not sinking into sort of victimization, meekness, or submissiveness out of fear. 8 and 5 energy together ignite the desire for expansiveness and sort of ultimate freedom. So anything that's trying to impose overly rigid or oppressive restrictions now will likely be faced with some level of revolt, pushback, uproar, that sort of thing. Personally, you may find at this time that certain routines or mundane ways of doing things begin to feel really sort of claustrophobic. So it would be very easy under this energy to sort of make big sweeping changes within your life. And I would say just, try to keep your head about you as you move through this energy, because when it calms down and you're only left, you're kind of left with nothing familiar at that point because you made these big sweeping changes, you may be wishing that you would have left something standing, right? So again, chameleon spirit can come in at this time and just kind of, again, just take a look around, slow your roll a little bit, and make sure that the things that you are releasing or getting rid of or breaking free from are things that are ready to be released and broken free from, right? Like, you don't just wake up one day and be like, I'm going to quit my job and because I hate it here. And so you just quit your job and you've got nowhere else to go and not the best financial decision or whatever the case may be, right? So it's very easy under this 5 energy to really get swept up in it and just make very impulsive decisions that when the energy sort of fades in a couple of weeks, you may be thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, right? I mean, the good news is that it's probably only going to be pretty potent for a week to 2 weeks. So any big major changes that you make are probably going to be things that you can kind of backtrack on if you feel you need to. But I would say just really take everything, just do an overview, make sure that what you're diving into or making changes for is what you want to be doing, right? And what feels right for you for a long-term potential commitment. So it could also be very easy to overspend in this period or overindulge. So allow your senses to be delighted without being gorged. And so trust me, you'll thank me later. You can absolutely 100% have your cake and eat it too. Just do so in moderation and you'll avoid getting a tummy ache. See what I'm saying? So be as flexible and adaptable as possible during this period. With 5 energy, change can be around every corner, and it may look different than what you had anticipated, especially when it comes to this 8 energy of business, wealth, resources, and power. So go with the flow while also paying attention to what the situation is trying to highlight for you so that you can make any necessary changes or adjustments that feel good for you. With the coupling of the 5 and the 8 energy for this illumination, think change, transformation, expansion, or restrictions. Remember, you've got the higher and the lower octaves of these energies. Moderation, enjoyment. Don't be so restrictive that you don't allow yourself to enjoy this energy. 5 energy is a lot of fun. It can be a lot of fun. It can be very social, very big and expansive and joyful. And so allow yourself the enjoyment, right? We don't always have to be so serious and sacred about things, right? So overindulgence, impulsivity are also possible. So again, moderation, moderation, moderation. Freedom could come into the forefront when it comes to money, power, resources, business, equity, the more tangible things in the physical plane. So you can make this energy work for you. It's all about perspective and driving your actions in the direction that you want to take them, right? Working with the energy. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the individual life path numbers. Life path number 4. So for us, there are a tremendous amount of possibilities for creative endeavors coming in at this time. This can be a time where we may have been hitting some roadblocks when it came to financial backing or understanding how it was that we might have had an idea for a project, but we didn't exactly know how it was going to get done or how it was going to get made. I feel like this illumination can really bring into the spotlight bring into fruition some financial backing for big projects at this time. Conversations about money, resources could come up at this time with family, friends, spouse, partner, colleagues, asking for a raise, whatever the case may be. But it does seem like there's an emphasis for 4s around, again, communication, conversations about money and resources. So this again could be like you asking for what you feel you deserve when it comes to maybe you're in line for a promotion or a review of some sort, or maybe you're setting your prices. Maybe you have your own business and you're setting your prices for your products. And it's just really about like not selling yourself short, not gouging people either, but just really understanding your own worth and sticking to that, right? Like understanding it and standing behind it. There's also some energy here around setting and holding healthy boundaries. So it may come up that you need to have a conversation with someone or several people about some healthy boundaries. Now, with this being 4 energy, this immediately takes me to thinking about like work or even home life, something like that, but really like a work or a business environment or a volunteer situation, whatever the case may be. So it may be that maybe you're being overworked and, that's always ultimately a choice. And so instead of saying yes all the time, this might be an opportunity for you to set some healthy boundaries. You've committed to a certain amount of hours per week, potentially with an employer. And as long as you honor that, you're not required to do beyond that, right? Like I understand the unspoken commitments and all of that, of course. We all live in the same society, or at least those in the US. But anyway, so it could be something around work environment and like really just setting those healthy boundaries for work-life balance, right? So just pay attention to that. Also could come up around home life as well, or friendships. There could be something where you need to set some healthy boundaries with your friends and what you commit to outside of work, right? Or outside of your family obligations. There's also something here about creative freedom. So this is going to be a time where you can really express yourself creatively if you choose to. A lot of times 4s can fall into the more practical side of things, the more like structured and following systems and that sort of energy. This is a beautiful, beautiful time for 4s to think outside the box. And really, when 4s are able to do that, it just expands their horizon. So it's really something that we need to learn to do just ongoing, right? Like we can incorporate those systems and the more practical side of things into creative endeavors, right? So that we're not overly rigid and overly focused on the more practical side of things. This energy is going to allow you to think creatively and to, again, think outside the box, which I think is going to really feel like a breath of fresh air, or has the potential to. So really run with that. The other side of this is this energy could bring in assistance or collaborations on projects or business endeavors. So fours a lot of times will kind of, again, sort of fall into I don't want to say the rut, but where it's like my way or the highway, and I know how to do it, or this is right type thing. And if I don't do it, it won't be done right. And that can really restrict or hold back a four. And so this energy is really going to help you to think again outside the box, see things from a different perspective, again, be a little bit more adaptable to other people's ideas and perspectives. So beautiful, beautiful energy to ask for help or assistance, and then collaborate with people on projects or business endeavors. Release that control and allow other people to share their ideas, because you can't possibly have every idea in the world, right? So you're missing out if you're not collaborating in some way. If you create an island for yourself, you're only going to have your own ideas and own perspectives to work with, and you're going to be limited. So this energy is allowing you, or sort of pushing you, to really network and communicate and share ideas. And then also not just share your ideas, but listen to the ideas of others and find ways to incorporate that and not be quite so rigid. This can be a great time for promotions as well. So seeing some kind of an increase in money resources. This can also be a beautiful time for entrepreneurship. So potentially maybe you are leaving a job and starting your own business, or maybe you've started your own business and now it's kind of taking off to the point where you feel confident and you can leave your job type thing. You're more 9 to 5 or whatever. We're working for someone. So beautiful, beautiful energies here. Just think really about collaboration, listening to other people's perspectives and ideas, and finding ways to incorporate that into whatever it is that you're doing, right? Because there's a lot of your own wisdom, but there's a lot of external wisdom to be shared and explored and integrated as well. So I hope it's a beautiful full moon for you all. Take care, fours. Bye for now.